Hey guys, welcome to another episode from Bridget's Kitchen. Thank you so much for joining me today. It is a very exciting day for me. I'll get into that a little bit more later, but firstly, a big thank you for coming in and being a part of my kitchen and taking part in what is going to be another healthy, delicious cooking class. And today's class, we're actually going to be doing 3 recipes. So you've actually joined in a really, really good one. We're going to be making my now famous sticky sauce, which you can use on meats and all sorts of things, like increase in energy. It's my health, how I feel, how I react with the food that's now in front of me that has completely changed. So today is exciting. It's the end of round 1. Tomorrow I start round 2, and I'm super excited too because my husband's joining me on round 2. So it's going to be some really awesome food that we're going to be cooking coming out of my kitchen. Keep an eye out for my Facebook page, of course, that you're on now, Bridget's Kitchen. Keep an eye out because I do have some really, really exciting recipes coming up just for you guys. And please feel free to tag your friends into this post if you think that they could either, number 1, use the fat program, or number 2, use these delicious, healthy, fat-free, sugar-free, gluten-free, dairy-free dressings and sauces I'm about to give you guys. Alright, so let's get into the cooking. The first sauce that we're going to be doing today, I thought I would actually start off with the salad dressing that I promised you. That healthy, Bridget's healthy, zesty salad dressing. So if you see in front of me here, I'm going to spin it around. I have some ingredients in front of me to make the salad dressing. It is really easy to make, but I am definitely going to be putting it into this little processor guy here. Most definitely, because why make your job harder than it already is what I say. So it's all going to be going into there. So the first thing I have here is I have fresh lemon juice. Now, by the way, if you want the full ingredients or recipe for Bridget's Zesty dressing, just say in the comments below, Bridget's Zesty dressing, and we'll send that out to you, out to your inbox. So the first thing that's going into my little container is my lemon juice. And yes, I squeeze that from fresh lemons. I squeeze that from fresh lemons, which is really, really important because it's fresh, it tastes better, and it's way better for you than that stuff that you can already get in the supermarket that says lemon juice. Don't do it. Grab yourself some lemons and squeeze it yourself. It would be so much better than using that pre-squeezed rubbish. It's garbage. Okay, so the lemon juice is in there first. The next thing I'm going to put in there is some water. So just normal tap water goes in there as well. And because it's a zesty dressing, we're actually going to be using some ginger. Once again, I'm using fresh ginger. So this is what we call a ginger rhizome or ginger root, if you want to call it that. And I love this. Now this little implement, which is just basically a grater, a little fine grater, I picked up in an op shop, like in a thrift store for 50 cents. And it's one of my favorite things since I've been on the program because it gives me the ability to do this with my ginger. Look at that. How cool is that? It does it so effortlessly. Smack that in. So we're going to put, because it's zesty, I want to put, a decent amount of ginger in there. And once again, the recipe quantities we can send out to you. You just need to put Bridget's Zesty dressing into the comments below and we'll send that out. So a bit of ginger goes in there. The next thing I want to add is going to help to balance the flavor. And it's just a little bit of garlic, not too big. So taking my big knife, I'm going to smash my heel down on the garlic, and that helps our skins to just pop right off there, which is lovely and easy. And I'm just going to chop it roughly. I don't have to be too careful about how I'm doing this because my little processor machine is going to do the work for me as well. So give that a bit of a chop, and then that can go into our little machine, just like that. And we are also going to add in some mustard. Now, this is optional. The reason I say it's optional is that you can have mustard on the fat program, mustard powder, which you can add just a touch if you've got. But this particular mustard, this brand of mustard that I have, I know it's written Chilli, but it's actually pronounced my. It's a French mustard. It is my favorite mustard in the entire world, and it's completely oil and sugar free. So I am adding a bit of this mustard into my dressing. That's optional for you. If you don't like mustard, you don't have to add it in. I quite like mustard, hence why this is just a small jar of mustard for me. And we're going to add in a tablespoon of our my Dijon mustard. if you are looking at purchasing a mustard, I would suggest that you make sure to go and have a look at the back, at the ingredients list. Check that there's no oil. Check that there's no sugar. Check that there's no additives in there, because your mustard does not need sugar. If your mustard has sugar, try another brand for sure. So that's the My Mustard. And if you want to as well, you could also add in a little bit of chili. So that's completely up to you. I am going to just add just a tiny bit, and it's a green chili I've got in there. And the reason I'm adding a green chili is because my next ingredient that I'm going to be adding is some fresh herbs. This is what I bought today at the market. Isn't it gorgeous? Look at these herbs. We've got some coriander or cilantro there. I've got this wonderful big bunch of mint, and then I've got some parsley here as well. So we're going to be using some of that later on. But for this particular recipe, I'm actually going to be just going to rip off some of the mint here. Oh God, the smell. The smell is amazing. Now this, what you see in front of me here, right there, this is the foundation for me when it comes to eating delicious food. Spices and herbs. Now remember, spices don't mean they're spicy, they mean they add flavor. So herbs for me, and fresh herbs like this, we can use this in abundance. You don't have to count calories when it comes to your herbs. You can add however many you want. You can make a beautiful herb salad, you can put it into dressing, sauces, through stir fries, all these wonderful things. And I wish you could smell how amazing that aroma is, that top note that's coming off it right now. So we're going to be adding that into our dressing. And by adding, I just want the leaves. So the best way to do that is just to hold the leaf at the top, and then you just kind of strip down. Look, I'm not even bothering to chop them either, because my little machine's going to do it all for me. So add in your fresh herbs. If you have, I think mint's definitely a nice one for this, because it does have a top note. But if you don't like mint, I don't know why that would be the case, but some people, I don't know, some people don't like mint, then you could try adding coriander or cilantro through this as well. That would definitely work. Parsley doesn't really have enough of a flavor. I don't think parsley's a good one. I prefer herbs that have a good flavor. So that is our dressing all in there. We'll sort of get the top of my little machine and turning it on. Yeah, power's on. Fantastic. Let's just start to blend. I'm going to put it on turbo. And let's have a look, see what's happening down there. Fantastic. You see the herbs are all chopped up nicely. That's all it needs. That was like 10 seconds of blitzing. I'm just going to have a bit of a taste, because one of the most important things when you are making any food to be consumed, taste it to make sure if it tastes good to you, chances are it tastes good to someone you're cooking for as well. Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. The only thing it needs is a little bit of salt. Salt's going to help our palate to detect those wonderful zesty flavors that we've already got in there. I'm just going to add just a pinch of pepper. Once again, we're just going to go in for the quick blend. And I'm happy. Here's some I prepared earlier, so I'm actually just going to pour the rest of that dressing into my jar. This is going to get a lid. It's then going to go into the refrigerator, and that will last in the refrigerator or the fridge for 2 to 3 weeks. So that's a good amount of dressing that you got right there. So that's dressing number one, or sauce number one. And remember, if you want the recipe to that one, Bridget's Zesty dressing in the comments below this video, and we will send it out to you. Now the next sauce is one that has been doing the rounds online on Facebook and Instagram and various places. It's been doing the rounds, and it's gotten quite popular. So popular, in fact, I hear people just mentioning sticky sauce as they're kind of talking in different Facebook groups. You know, what's the sticky sauce? I need the sticky sauce. I heard it's amazing. So I'm going to show you guys how to make my sticky sauce. Now my sticky sauce, it's really, really easy, but it's phenomenal, because what it does, just think about that word, sticky sauce, sticky. That's what we want. We want flavor. We want something to adhere to the food that we're cooking. So sticky sauce is really, really good to put into, like, just a couple of tablespoons into a stir fry. Or when you're cooking meat, put a little bit of that. I made some tofu the other day, put sticky sauce on it, phenomenal. I also brushed the top of my piece of salmon with sticky sauce, which was incredible. Now remember, sticky sauce is fat-free, it is sugar-free, and it is dairy-free. So it ticks all those boxes, and it's extremely simple to make. So simple, in fact, all you need is a pot and your ingredients. So I have in front of me some tamari. I'm using a salt reduced tamari, which if you can find it, it's really nice. Spiral Food, so it's an organic. We need some apple cider vinegar. I'm using one with the mother in there, so it's nice and active. In this little container here, this little pot here, I have homemade applesauce. So I took a medium-sized apple, green apple, of course, we only eat the green apples, and I peeled it, and I put it in a pot like this, covered it with water, diced it up, and cooked it for about 10-12 minutes, and then processed it in my little machine and got this wonderful applesauce. Of course, that's sugar-free as well. And we also need these things. So as I was saying, this is so easy to make. You make it directly into the pot that you're going to cook it in. So we add in our tamari, and by the way, if you want the recipe, I believe we've thrown up a link for that recipe. Coco? Coco is our moderator today. Hi, Coco. And if you've got any questions, Coco can let me know if you have any questions about what we're doing. So tamari goes in there. The next thing I'm going to be adding is my apple cider vinegar. That goes in as well. I also want to add in my homemade applesauce, or just pureed apples. It's not even sauce, it's just pureed apples. That goes in, but you saw how well pureed that is. So it's really, really, really smooth is what you want. That goes in. I'm also going to add in the zest. And now in the recipe it says the zest of a lime. I used my last lime. You'll see in the next recipe where I use my last lime. So I'm using a lemon, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. You can mix and match. If limes are expensive in your part of the world, please feel free to use a lemon. Now what I'm doing here is just taking off the outer skin, or the zest. There's so much flavor and natural oils that are contained in the zest that we don't want to miss out on all those wonderful flavors. So why not take that? And I'm using, this is called a microplane. It's like a little fine grater, whereas this one, as you can see, the holes are a little bit bigger. So this one's probably too big for my lemon, but my skinnier microplane. If you've just got like a normal box grater, you'll probably have a really fine one like this on your box grater. So just take off the zest, pop that into your pot. The next thing is, here's my squeezer. We need to juice our lemon or our lime. The reason why lime is just a little bit nicer than lemon, sorry Mr. Lemon, I have to mention this. The reason why I do like lime in this is because lime has a little bit of a sweetness to it. Whereas we know with lemon, it's pretty citric. It's pretty like, whoa, that's me having a lemon now. Whereas lime is just that little bit sweeter. So you can, but look, like I said, if you don't have any limes, just be like me and add the lemon. So the juice goes in there. Of course, we only use fresh lemon juice or fresh lime juice. And the last thing we need to do is go back to our friend, the ginger rhizome, or the ginger root. And I'm going to add in 3 slices, generous slices of ginger is going to go in there as well. Just like that. Those go in. Give that a bit of a stir. And then all you need to do after that is to pop it on the stove. Goes onto the cooktop. You want to bring it to a simmer. This is really important. I have had people saying to me, oh, my sticky sauce, I didn't like the taste. It was too strong. It was too salty. Chances are you let it boil down too much, because what you need to do is just bring it to a simmer and then allow it to simmer away for about 20 minutes until the liquid in there reduces down, only by half. So at the moment, I think I've got close to 500 mils of liquid in there, which is the equivalent of about oh gosh, I'm not sure how many ounces, but it's around about 1 pint of liquid is in there. So that's going to reduce down to about 240, 280, something like that. You don't want to reduce it any further than that, because it'll get too strong and the flavor will be just intense and salty. So that goes onto the stovetop. But I've made one here, so actually I can do a side-by-side comparison of what the end product looks like. So it starts off like that, and then it ends up like that. And you can see, I'll get a spoon so you can see what we actually have in here. So it's gone a little bit syrupy, but definitely not thick. And the color isn't too dark as well. So this is the ideal consistency, or liquid pouring consistency, that you want from your sticky sauce once it's reduced down. The reason I say I don't give an exact time on how long it's going to take, because depending on how high a temperature you put it on, will determine how I always put it on like medium, just above medium, and mine tends to take sort of 15 to 20 minutes to come down to this. Now, if you take it too far and it gets too dark and too syrupy, all you need to do is add a bit of water to bring it back to that consistency. So it's not, you don't have to throw it away if you think, oh, I've just ruined a whole bowl of tamari. No, just add a little bit of water, bring it back to that consistency, and then happy days. So that's sticky sauce. We've got the recipe, I think, link up for that already. I've got a lot of sticky sauce coming up for me in the next couple of days because that's 2 portions there, which is very exciting. But the last recipe that I want to do today for you guys, and once again, it's been extremely popular online, which is fabulous. I love it when things do that. I just absolutely love it. And that sauce that I may have put it out last week, I think, beginning of last week, and I called it the Green Queen because she is royalty. She is fabulous. It's such a great sauce. Like, it's incredibly good. So this is going to be one that you're going to want to have in your repertoire. I absolutely guarantee you. It is easy to make. Once again, ingredients I have in front of me here. I have an avocado. So if you are on the fat program, this is sauces compatible for stage 1 and stage 3, not in stage 2 because you don't eat avocado. But that is our avocado. See, there's that lime I was telling you about. I had to decide what was going to benefit more from the lime flavor, and it was definitely going to be the Green Queen. So that's there. We have some garlic cloves as well. Three small garlic cloves. We have chili, another green chili. If you want, once again, optional. You don't have to add chili to it. It is one of those things. Some people like chili, some people don't. So that's completely up to you. All right, just giving my little machine a bit of a clean. Because it's going in there, once again, I'm not too fussed about how I chop things. So taking up my avocado. You want an avocado that is ripe, but still, oh, look at that. Wow, perfect, absolutely perfect. That's what you want. That's definitely what you want from your avocado. If there's brown bits, nasty. We don't like the brown bits. None of us like the brown bits. Probably not a great idea because your dressing will just, it won't be the Green Queen, it'll be the brown and green queen, which is not ideal at all. So our avocado goes in. Doesn't have to be a big avocado, like my one is actually quite small when I think about it. But that's all right. Spoon it out. Get as much of that avocado out of there as possible. That goes in. Fantastic. Be careful of the pip. The next thing we're going to do is just very, very roughly chop through our garlic. Nothing too much to worry about because, of course, our machine's going to do all the work for us. Just like that. We are also going to add in our lime. So I'm going to, there's a little secret, little trick for you guys. This lime's quite firm. Just looking at it, he's pretty hard. So if you want to get the most juice out of your lime or your lemon, if they're a bit hard as possible, this is the way that I use. Put it onto my bench and I roll it really quite firm. And what's happening now is the fibers in the lime are starting to sort of break apart a bit. So I'm going to be able to extract more juice than if I just went straight ahead and started to juice it. All right, so cut it in half. Back to my juicy thing. That goes in. There you go. That was probably twice the amount of juice I thought I would have, to be honest with you. That's awesome.
Can you just let people know they have to go through to the Bridget sticky?
You can say it.
Sticky
oh,
sauce.
Okay, all right.
Green Queen post in order to receive
Okay, all right. I've had some instructions, guys. A little bit of instructions, just for 1 second. If you want the recipe for the sticky sauce, you need to click on the link. Can you throw in the link again, please, Coco? You need to click on that link. It'll take you to the sticky sauce recipe where you can request it. Unfortunately, because we're doing 3 recipes today, I can only automatically attach 1 to this video. So if you want the sticky sauce recipe, click on the link that's just been thrown up there. If you want the Green Queen recipe, click on the link that has just been thrown up there now. That's how you guys get those recipes. I hope that makes sense. I may have probably overdone it on today's class, but I had so many gorgeous dressings and sauces I want to show you. But okay, right, back to Green Queen. There we go. Thank you, Mahi, for that. So that's all in there. If you want to add chili, let's add some chili. Why not? You could add as much chili or like just go crazy. It's up to you. Or you can just completely avoid it if you don't like chili. So I'm going to add those ones in there. Lovely. I also have some water, which is going to go in there as well. Bit of water. And the last thing that we need to add, and probably one of the more important parts of this whole recipe, is I'm going back to my bucket of herbs. And I'm going to be taking off from my bucket of herbs. I'm going to be putting parsley in there for a start. Look, I'm taking it straight from the bucket, which is wonderful. And you know, I prefer this to flowers in my house. I love flowers, but this for me is wonderful because I get to eat it as well. So parsley goes in there, as well as parsley. And this is the last herb and the last ingredient for our green queen. I'm going to take this whole one out because it is one of my absolute favorites. Where are you? Here it is. And that is coriander. So the last thing that we're going to be adding into our green queen is a little bit of coriander. The reason I'm not just plucking leaves off the coriander is that the stalks of the coriander, I know I talk about this all the time, the stalks of the coriander actually taste really fabulous. So I don't mind having some stalks in there. There's so much flavour. So I'm just going to whack that off just like that. Pretty happy. Maybe a little bit more. That goes in. Now my daughter, who just started the FAT program, she started on Monday, just gone, so it should be a week tomorrow. She said the first time she tasted the sauce, she said, "Mum, it's like having guacamole." And that's exactly what it's like. Because when you think about all those flavors that we've got in there, it is literally guacamole, but in sauce form. So a little bit more water is going to go in. A little bit more water. I'm going to grab the lid, wherever I put it, here it is, to my little machine again. I love this machine. It's so wonderful. It doesn't look like it can do much, but geez, it's a bit of a beast. Bit of a beast. It works really well. So that goes on. Let's go turbo. Why not? Just going to have a look at it. No, it probably needs a little bit more than that. I want it to be really, really smooth. Okay, once again. Already that is looking fabulous. I'm going to add just a little bit more water to it. Just a bit. I'm also going to add some seasoning. Because remember, salt helps our palates to detect flavour. I'm using Himalayan salt there and some freshly ground black pepper. This goes on again. Give it a good whirl. You want it to be really, really smooth. And you can see that already the herbs in there are starting to get nice and fine, which is perfect. Now, thanks to the avocado, this sauce is actually quite thick. So it's pretty cool, but let's have a taste. Let's see what it needs. Remember, we always try and taste our food as well. So you can see that's got like some really good consistency to it. So even if it's going on salads or the sides of meat, or maybe you're putting it with your vegetables, wherever it goes, hot or cold dishes, it's absolutely fabulous. So a bit of a taste. It needs a little bit more salt. Ah, that was pepper. A little bit more salt and pepper. I'm also just going to add in another wee handful of my parsley, just to give it a bit more body. And then we give it one more little blast. Fabulous. And that is, I'm pretty happy with that. You guys can see that? Look at that sauce. The Green Queen. She is rather marvelous. She is rather gorgeous, but that has brought us to the end of today's little cooking class. Once again, thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions regarding the FAT program, drop me a message. I can tell you how you can lose 13 kilos, which is, I think, 28 pounds in less than 7 weeks, which is very exciting. We start round 2. I start round 2 tomorrow. If you've got like the recipes, click on the links for the recipes. Sticky sauce, click the link. Green Queen, click the link. And if you'd like the recipe to our first sauce, which was Bridget's Zesty dressing, put that into the comments below and we'll send it right out to you. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope to see you next Sunday here again in Bridget's kitchen. Take care.